Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Tabby Loves. I'm Tabitha and I talk to you about the things that I love. Today, we are going to be going through every single series I am in the middle of and whether or not I'm going to be continuing. There is quite a list. I have both physical books, which we will do first, and then we're gonna, I was gonna say round this out, but honestly we have more books that I don't own of series I'm in the middle of than books that I do. So we will get to the online ebooks series that I'm in the middle of after the physical books. So let's get into it, I guess. I don't know if this was the same format the other YouTubers I've seen doing this is, but I figured why not just go for it. Also, you will notice very quickly that there's so many books here where I have started the series, I've read book 1 and have not read book 2. So this is a good thing for me to remember what books I'm in the middle of and what series I'm in the middle of and get on it if I am going to continue them. So yeah, I am going to try to do this as quickly as I can, but no promises. Anyway, I'm going to start with this pile on the left, and then there's a pile over here on the right that's slightly bigger. And we're going to start with Acorna by Anne McCaffrey and Margaret Ball. I had read this first book originally in middle school and had reread it as an adult and loved it. I 100% do want to continue the Acorna series. I have to buy them because it's not on the internet and it's not on Kindle Unlimited, so it's going to take me a little bit longer, but I do still definitely want to continue with these. And another mass market paperback, another older series that I also have to buy the books for. But Nalini Singh's Angel's Blood series, there's 16 books in this series, and I've only read book 1. Acorna, I actually don't know how many books are in that series. But I do know I want to continue at least. Anyway, 16 books in this one, I've only read book 1. But I do want to continue this series as well. I actually own the next 3 books. I just haven't read them yet. So, yeah. The Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, I definitely do want to continue reading. If you watched my reading wrap-up and my May TBR, I want to continue this series and finish the trilogy this month. So we'll see how that goes. A Court of Thorns and Roses, the next book comes out in October, and I'm definitely going to continue that. I'm actually all caught up on this series. I'm literally waiting for the release like a lot of people are. The Cruel Prince. This one, I've only read book 1, but I am going to continue the series with reading book 2 here hopefully soon. It's a buddy read system I'm doing with my friend, so I don't know exactly when book 2 will be read, but book 2 and book 3 will be read. And maybe the spinoffs too. Who knows? I don't know. I'm actually literally in the middle, the exact middle of Dungeon Crawler Carl right now, the very first book, and so far, I think I will continue this series. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think book 8 is coming out in May, maybe? Or some point soon. So, yeah, definitely want to continue that one too. Disclaimer, I am getting over a cold right now, so if I sound funny and congested and stuff, it's because I am. Anyway, next pile. The next pile, it's going to take me a little bit longer, because some of these I actually don't know the answer to. So, well, we're going to find out together how I feel about each of these. Alright, so Let Them Burn by Camilla Cole. This is one I'm on the fence of. I've only read the first book. It was a YA series, but I do love YA series with dragons. But because, I'm in the middle of so many series, I actually don't know if I'm going to continue this one. I hear absolutely nothing about this series at all. And I was even though I liked it, I didn't necessarily like where the ending of this book was taking it. So it's a solid maybe. And I don't want to get into spoilers here because it's not spoiler time, but I think it was just what happens with the character that is bonded with the dragon at the end that makes me nervous for what ends up happening in the next books. However, I don't know. There's still a strong possibility that I will end up, but it'll probably be through the library and not buying the physical book like I have here. So, yeah. Also speaking of reading the rest of the series through ebooks, A Natural History of Dragons, I was originally on the fence about it because it ended up being slightly different than what I was expecting. However, I would love to continue this series, and I think the rest of the series on Kindle Unlimited. So, I think I do want to continue this series. The When in Rome is a contemporary romance with like a series of standalone contemporary romances. And I'm actually like in the middle of the last book right now, so I'm definitely continuing the series. I'm listening to it as an audiobook. So, I actually don't know if there's going to be more books after the fourth book that I'm reading, but if there is, I will definitely be continuing them. Assistant to the Villain. I've been meaning to get to this one. I do plan on reading the next book. I've only read the first one. But, you know, that's okay. This will probably be another one that I'll be reading the rest of the books through the library. But I am interested to see where she takes the world, and if I feel like something, like some sort of lighthearted fantasy, then you know what? I definitely want to see, I just want to see where this romance goes. It's fun. The Dragon Riders of Pern series, I have read the first 3 books, Dragonflight, Dragon Quest, and The White Dragon, which are all 3 books that are in here. Honestly, it's probably going to be a no because I found The White Dragon, the very last book in this omnibus, boring. Like, it got so boring in the middle. I was like, what is this? And this is another one where if I do continue the series, I would have to buy all the books. And I just don't know if I didn't enjoy the third book enough to warrant that, I think. So this is going to be temporary no. Alright, moving on. Fourth Wing. I am fully caught up on this series, but there are more books going to be coming out in this series, which is obviously why it's on this list. And I will definitely be continuing. Onyx Storm, the most recent book in this series, has actually been my favorite so far, and I love Fourth Wing. So definitely will be continuing that series. Infinity Alchemist. I am actually really interested in continuing this series. I have kind of forgot about it. This is definitely one of those books where I really loved it and then forgot it existed. Even though I own a physical copy, it's been sitting on the shelf behind me. But I kind of forgot about it. And I'm willing to bet there are more books out in this series right now. However, that being said, I don't know necessarily if I love this book so much that I am willing to buy more books in the series for it. So if it's not available through the library or Kindle Unlimited, there's a higher percentage. It's going to, at the very minimum, take me longer to read it. But I would, at the bare minimum, like to try the next book. I actually don't know how many books this series is even supposed to have. But I, bare minimum, want to try book 2. Daughter of the Moon Goddess. Now, this is a duology, so there's only one other book in the series. However, I wasn't the biggest fan of this book, which is such a shame because it seems so fun and whimsical, and it ended up reading like a long series of montages, which I was not the biggest fan of. However, if I do continue this series, it'll probably be as an audiobook through the library. So, and there's only one more book, you know, and I think it'd be nice to complete another series, a duology, especially one that, like, it has such good potential. So, this one's a tentative yes. Alright, next. The Prince Without Sorrow. I actually think the next book in this series came out recently, or it's gonna come out recently, because, for a hot minute there, this was the only book in the series, but I think this is supposed to be, I actually don't know if it's supposed to be a trilogy, or if there's gonna be more, but beside the point, I do plan on continuing this series, and I enjoyed this book so much, I'm definitely willing to buy book 2. So, you know, this one's definitely on my list to continue. Also, speaking of on my list to continue, I also definitely want to continue The Raven Scholar. This book is kind of hard to see unless I got the light shining on it. But I absolutely adore The Raven Scholar. I actually read it as a library book, and then I got it for Christmas, the physical copy, but I asked for the physical copy for Christmas because I love this series so much, or the first book at the bare minimum. I haven't read the rest of the series because the rest of the series isn't out yet. And this one is for sure a trilogy. And this one is, I'm for sure gonna continue it. I was obsessed. And I'll probably buy each book as it comes out, to be honest. Though that being said, I say I'm a big fan and then I don't even know when the next book's coming out. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Okay, A Fate Inked in Blood. This one, it could go either way. I think this is just a duology. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a duology. I do know the next book in this series is out, though. If I do continue this series, this is another one where I'll continue it through the library. I'm not really interested in buying the next book. I didn't like how this one ended, so it's a solid maybe. Leaning towards a yes, but a tentative yes. I guess it'll kind of depend on how many more books are in this series. And don't worry, there's going to be a lot of no's later on when I get to the next section here, which this is the last physical book. So, but that being said, I am tempted to give the second book a try. So it's a maybe leaning towards yes. Alright, I do have my list off to the side over here on my laptop. So if you see me looking over this way, that's what I'm looking at. And let's get started here. First up, the Bridgerton books. I have read books 1 and 2. And I haven't read past that, and I'd really like to. More of the Bridgerton books used to be on Kindle Unlimited, and they took them off, which threw my plan for a tizzy, because for some reason my library also doesn't really have the Bridgerton books. So that's kind of put me in a bind, but I would really like to continue the Bridgerton books. I just need to figure out if I want to continue it enough to warrant buying the next few books. But we'll see. I'm gonna cough again, hold on. I was filming TikToks before making this video, and my throat is not liking how much I'm talking. But that's okay. We're working with it, okay? So some of these clips might be short. If you wonder why the cutoff points are where they are, it's because I'm cutting the video off before I start coughing. I'm doing y'all a favor. You're welcome. Anyway, up next, Sunland Ascends. I have only read the first book in this series. This was another one where I really want to read book 2. However, it got taken off Kindle Unlimited, so I'm kind of just hoping that it'll get put back on Kindle Unlimited at some point, because my library doesn't have it. And as much as I liked the first book, this is another case where I don't know if I like the first book enough to warrant buying them, because I would have to buy the first book and the second book. And I don't know if I like the series so much that that's what I'm willing to do. However, I would like the opportunity to continue that series, so I've been keeping an eye on it to see when it'll get put back on Kindle Unlimited. Up next, Guild. I have read the first 2 books, and see, I don't know, my friend really was hoping I would continue the series, but as much as I liked the first book, I wasn't that big of a fan of the second book, so I think I'm probably not going to continue Guild. Spark of the Everflame, I have read books 1 and 2, and I tried to read book 3 and DNF'd it, so safe to say I am not going to be continuing the Spark of the Everflame series. I hate DM. Like, DM literally ruins the books for me over and over and over again. Like, I like everything else about the books except for DM. Somebody's being a troublemaker back here. Hey! Hey, stop that! He never listens to me. Alright, next up. The Stardust Thief. I have read book 1, and that's it. I remember actually really liking this book. And it's definitely a series that I did want to continue and then forgot existed. So, yes, I will be continuing this series as soon as I possibly can, because I must put the next book on hold at the library before I forget that this series exists again. But I definitely do want to continue that one. Once Upon a Broken Heart. I have read 1 and 2, and it's a trilogy, so I just need to read the 3rd book. And the plan is to read the 3rd book. I've been dragging my feet around it because I loved book 1. I did not love book 2. But I liked the ending of book 2 enough where I'm like, you know, I do kind of want to read book 3, but because of how disappointed I was in book 2, it's been really hard to motivate myself. Like, I think I literally put book 3 on hold at the library. It came in, and I wasn't feeling it, so I returned it, and I haven't put it back on hold since. And I've enjoyed all the things I've been getting from the library recently, so I don't want to mess that up by, forcing it on me. However, I do want to at least finish out the trilogy. Not just to say that, I almost said just to say that I did, but it's not that deep. But I want to see where the ending of this trilogy goes. I'm just curious, more than anything. Palace of Disorder, I read book 1, and I loved book 1. Book 2, I think this is a series that's through Kindle Unlimited. Or actually, no, I think it is on Kindle Unlimited, but I actually got Palace of Disorder as an ARC. And I really enjoyed it. And the author is so nice and super, like, active on social media, all of that. And I just haven't gone around to reading the second book. Honestly, I think because the author is so active, it makes me nervous. I'm like, what if she finds out I didn't like the second book? I haven't read the second book yet, so I don't know, but just, like, the possibilities. Like, I don't know, I get nervous. I'm also really intimidated. Like, it was a lot to take in, the first book, and I'm just intimidated that the second book will also be kind of just, like, a lot coming at you. And I don't know if I can handle that, but I do tentatively want to continue that series, and read book 2. Up next. Okay, this next one. I need a drink before I get into this. Hold on. Alright, so the Zodiac Academy series. The last book I read of the Zodiac Academy series was book 7. Now, that being said, I actually was really enjoying the Zodiac Academy series. I was, like, surprised by the direction it was going. It reminded me of the CW shows, like the Vampire Diaries and such, and I was living for that vibe. Book 7 ruined it for me. Book 7 was so insanely different from the rest of the books in the series. Like, it felt like a giant filler book, which, when your book is over 1,000 pages, it shouldn't be 1,000 pages of filler. It made me so mad. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to continue this series. And I spoiled the ending of the series for myself. Because, like, well, I'm not going to read it, but I want to know what happens. But now that I've been more removed from the betrayal of book 7 being so awful, there is a part of me that tentatively does want to read book 8 and continue the series. And finish out the series, because I feel like I wasn't that far from the end. I can't remember now off the top of my head how many books there were. I want to say there was 12, but I think it was 12 including the novellas. But tentatively, there's a part of me that does want to continue this series and see the rest of the series unfold with my girls. But I've been hurt. So, I don't know. I have to talk to my friend that I was buddy reading the series with, because I know she does also want to read book 8. So, I have to talk to her and see if maybe if we do want to continue. It's a tentative yes. Alright, up next. Legendborn. I have read books 1 and 2, so I'm on book 3, and I am 100% gonna continue Legendborn. And while, so far each Legendborn book, there's been just one element of it that's made me a bit overall, I've been enjoying the series a lot, and I'm interested to see where it goes. So I will definitely be continuing and reading book 3 at some point. I'm also definitely going to keep this list so I remember what series I'm in the middle of, because I do want to get some of these completed. That'll probably be its own separate thing, though, because this year, if you remember all the way back to my books, my videos at the beginning of the year, my goal this year is to try to get through more of my physical TBR, which SJM announcing her ACOTAR book, where I now have to reread all of her books, has put a wrench in that plan, let me tell you. It's still the plan for this year. So, a lot of these books, because they're not going to be, they're not physical books that I'm reading, are put on the back burner. But, I make an exception for audiobooks, so we'll see. But I definitely do plan on continuing Legendborn. Anyway, Silver Elite. This one, this is another one I'm on the fence about. I liked Silver Elite. I feel like it was overhated. I enjoyed the writing style of Silver Elite a lot. I actually really enjoyed the relationship. And I thought the world was really interesting. And the second book, it comes out this month. So, I might. I am curious to see where it goes. However, I wouldn't say I was such a big fan where I absolutely need to read the second book. And because there's so many other books I want to read, so many other series I want to start, that I don't know if I liked Silver Elite enough for it to make the cut, you know? Alright, up next, When the Moon Hatched. I read the first book, the second book comes out this month. I do plan on reading the second book. I liked the first book a lot. However, I do think, like, the push and pull of the relationship got a bit annoying. Like, it was just constantly the main female character, like, realizing she's falling in love and freaking out and running away, and then the love interest goes and finds her and brings her back, and it's just that on repeat. However, because we've gotten through that, I am hoping the rest of the series continues with everything else that was going on in the first book, so I will be reading the second book, probably promptly, because I listen to the Fantasy Fangirls podcast, and they've been doing When the Moon Hatched, so I will probably be listening to the second book as well, so I can follow along with their coverage of that. Not that that worked for Spark of the Everflame, because they did Spark of the Everflame 2, which is the only reason I read book 2, to be honest, and started book 3. But it turns out I don't have to read the books to enjoy their coverage. But I still like to. I still like to kind of, like, have a better understanding of what's going on. So, but that being said, yes, I will be reading book 2 of When the Moon Hatched. Vicious. I read the first book in this series by V.E. Schwab. 100% will be reading the next book. I loved Vicious so much. The Rose Bargain. This is another one where I liked the first book. I liked it a lot. I don't know if I liked it enough that I care if I continue the series or not. Because, like I said, so many other books I want to read. So many other series I want to start that I don't know if I cared about the Rose Bargain enough to continue book 2. So it's a solid maybe. There may be a day where I'm eventually, like, in the mood enough where I'm like, you know what, I could really go for something like the Rose Bargain. Let's read the sequel. But it's on a maybe, leaning towards no right now. Blood and Brujas. I read book 1. I thought the writing was actually awful. Sorry, not sorry. I will not be reading book 2. I will not be continuing that series. So sorry. Ember in the Ashes. I didn't love book 1. I struggled to, I thought about DNFing it so many times and then kept going. So that being said, there is a slight chance I will try book 2 just to see where the story goes. But there's no guarantees. Honestly, a lot of these books that I may be on, I had read in the first place because of the Book Talk for Book Talk podcast. In between their analysis seasons, they do little, like, book club seasons where they give, like, oh, this is the books we're reading, and you're supposed to read them for the podcast. They'll ask for listener opinions, and then they'll talk about it on their show. And so there's lots of books that I read for that show, or for those little segments, because I like to follow along, again, like I said earlier, with the Fantasy Fangirl stuff. And Ember of the Ashes was definitely one of those books. So, if they do, like, they've been talking about doing, like, a sequel book club where they read, like, a sequels to the bunch of the books that they had read. If that happens, then I will be continuing the series. So, it's a solid maybe. Up next, Ice Planet Barbarians. I've only read book 1, but yes, I do plan on continuing the Ice Planet Barbarian books. I really enjoyed book 1, and I am curious to see how the rest of these relationships develop. I think it'd be fun. I don't know. Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I'm on book 3. Book 3 is not out yet. Because I actually thought it was going to be a duology, and I was like, oh, there's going to be another book after the second book? Bet, because I loved Ninth House, and I liked the second book, so I will definitely be reading the third book when it comes out. Okay, final book, ding, 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 final book, Belladonna. I have read book 1, again, from Book Talk for Book Talk's book club thing, but I've read it, and, you know, I liked it more than I thought I would, so, I do kind of want to read the second book, But even though I liked it more than I thought I would, I don't know if I liked it so significantly that I for sure want to read the second book, you know? But I'm curious the way things are going to unfold. So it's a solid maybe. It could lean either way. Anyway, that's it. Those are all the series I have read at least the first book on, and I'm currently in the middle of. It is quite a list. But I feel like it's not as bad as some other people's are. And there are several books on, as you must have listened to me talk about, where I do want to try to finish out the series. However, I can almost guarantee you that a majority of these books, I do not know how many books are in the series. So, completing them might be harder than I currently am thinking. But there's also a few where I'm like one book away from completing them. So those will probably get a priority. Like, what was it? I was just looking at it. Once Upon a Broken Heart. That one, there's just one book between me and the end. I'll probably prioritize finishing that one and getting some of these series finished. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, I'll probably prioritize getting that one finished. A Fate Inked in Blood, if it is a duology. That kind of thing, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Because I feel like my reading moods, they gestulate wildly. And some of it's also depending on what's at the library, what's on Kindle Unlimited, when the holds come in, and if I still feel like listening to the book when the hold does come in. Right now, I'm only doing audiobooks from my library because of me trying to read my physical books. And my audiobooks I listen to while at work, so they're under a different, system. But it's still an easy way for me to dive into more of these series. So, yeah. Anyway, if you stay till the end, thank you, love you. Leave a comment, tell me, are any of these series worth continuing? Would you finish any of these series? Are there any series that I said I don't want to continue that you think I should? Let me know in the comments. Pretty please and thank you. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like it or more videos from me, hit that bell and subscribe. I greatly appreciate y'all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love ya. Goodbye.